The accidental discovery. The coffee had gone cold hours ago, but Dr. Sarah Chen barely noticed. Her eyes were fixed on the oscilloscope display, showing patterns that made no sense according to everything she knew about deep space communication. The Titan research station orbited Neptune in perfect silence. Its massive antenna arrays pointed toward the outer rim of the galaxy, where no human had ever been. Sarah had been testing the new quantum entanglement communication system for 3 months. The technology was supposed to revolutionize how Earth communicated with distant colonies. Instead, tonight it was showing her something impossible. The signal was too organized to be natural, too complex to be from any human source, and definitely coming from outside the solar system. "Computer, run another frequency analysis," Sarah commanded, her voice hoarse from hours of work. The analysis confirmed what she already suspected but didn't want to believe. This wasn't random cosmic noise. Someone, or something, was having a conversation across interstellar space, and Earth's most sensitive listening equipment had accidentally tuned into their private channel. Sarah's hands trembled as she saved the data to multiple secure drives. After 15 years of searching for signs of alien life, she had found it by accident while trying to fix a calibration error. The irony wasn't lost on her, but she had no time to appreciate it. These signals were fading, which meant the conversation was ending. She reached for her secure communication link and called Dr. Marcus Webb, the station's xenolinguistics expert. Marcus had joined the project as a skeptic, convinced that if aliens existed, they would be so different from humans that communication would be impossible. Sarah was about to prove him wrong. "Marcus, get to Lab 7 immediately," Sarah said when he answered, sleep thick in his voice. "Sarah, it's 3 in the morning. What's so urgent?" "I found them. I found actual alien communication." The silence stretched for 10 seconds. Then Marcus was running down the corridor. Dr. Priya Sharma arrived 5 minutes after Marcus, her engineering expertise essential for understanding the technical aspects of the alien signals. The 3 scientists gathered around Sarah's workstation, staring at data that would change human understanding of the universe. "Show me everything," Marcus said, suddenly fully awake. Sarah replayed the captured signals. Over 6 hours of complex patterns that varied in frequency, duration, and intensity. The signals came in bursts with clear pauses that suggested turn-taking in a conversation. Even more intriguing, the mathematical structure underlying the signals showed signs of grammar and syntax. "This is definitely language," Marcus said, after studying the patterns for an hour. "Look at these repetitions. They're using consistent markers to indicate different concepts. It's sophisticated." Priya was analyzing the technical aspects of the transmission. "The signal is incredibly advanced. They're using quantum-encrypted subspace channels that shouldn't be possible with our understanding of physics. These beings are technologically superior to us by centuries, maybe millennia." Sarah felt a chill of excitement and fear. "Can you translate any of it?" Marcus was already working on the problem, running the signals through linguistic analysis software designed for unknown languages. The computer began identifying recurring patterns, probable word boundaries, and basic grammatical structures. It would take time, but Marcus was confident they could at least understand the general meaning of the conversation. While Marcus worked on translation, Sarah continued monitoring for new signals. What she found made her stomach drop. The signals were not just fading, they were filled with urgency and distress. Even without understanding the language, the emotional content was clear. Someone was in serious trouble. "I'm getting fragments," Marcus announced after several more hours. "There are at least 2 different speakers, probably different species based on the communication patterns. One keeps using terms that translate roughly to evacuation, time running out, and abandonment." Priya looked up from her analysis. "The signals are bouncing off multiple relay points. I think I can trace the source location. It's coming from a star system about 47 light-years away." Sarah felt the pieces falling into place. "We're listening to an emergency communication between alien species. One of them is in trouble and asking for help." Marcus nodded grimly. "That's my interpretation too. But here's the disturbing part. I think the other species is refusing to help." I'm seeing repeated use of terms that suggest rejection, denial, and finality. For the next 24 hours, the three scientists worked without rest, driven by the knowledge that they were witnessing a tragedy unfold across the galaxy. Marcus's translation software grew more sophisticated as it learned the alien languages, revealing a story that broke their hearts. The first species, who called themselves the Zilani, were facing extinction. Their homeworld sun was destabilizing, in a process that would render their planet uninhabitable within months. They had reached out to their longtime allies, the Corvani, requesting assistance with evacuation. The Corvani had the technology and resources to help, but were refusing, claiming the evacuation would be too expensive and risky. "Listen to this," Marcus said, playing a translated segment of the communication. The computer's voice gave the words an eerie mechanical quality, but the desperation came through clearly. "Corvani Council, we plead once more. Our children number in the millions. Our elders carry knowledge that cannot be replaced. We offer everything we have, all our biotechnology, all our scientific advances, in exchange for transport to any habitable world." The response was cold and final. "The Corvani have deliberated. The risk to our vessels and crew outweighs the potential benefits. We withdraw our protection from the Zilani system. May your final days bring peace." Sarah stared at the translation, horrified. "They're abandoning an entire civilization to die." Priya was running calculations on her computer. According to their communications, the Zilani have roughly 4 million individuals on their homeworld. Their technology is advanced, but they never developed faster than light travel. They're completely dependent on the Corvani for interstellar transport. Marcus continued translating the final exchanges. The Zilani had made increasingly desperate offers, proposing to become servants, to give up their independence, to work for the Corvani for generations in exchange for rescue. Each offer was rejected. Finally, the communication ended with a simple, heartbreaking message. "We understand. The Zilani will face the darkness alone. We thank the Corvani for past friendship and forgive this abandonment. Perhaps someday, someone will remember that we tried to live." The three scientists sat in silence, overwhelmed by what they had witnessed. Somewhere in the galaxy, an entire civilization was preparing to die, abandoned by their supposed allies and unaware that anyone else had heard their final pleas. "We have to do something," Sarah said finally. Priya looked skeptical. "What can we do? We barely have faster-than-light travel ourselves. Our ships aren't designed for mass evacuation, and we've never made contact with alien species." But Sarah was already thinking ahead. "We may not have the Corvani's resources, but we have something they apparently don't, the willingness to try." "Marcus, how long ago did these communications take place?" Marcus checked the quantum signature analysis. "The signals took about 3 weeks to reach us, accounting for the relay delays. If the Zilani timeline is accurate, we might have a few months before their sun becomes critical." Sarah activated her communication link to Earth. "I'm calling Admiral Harrison. If we're going to attempt an interstellar rescue mission, we'll need official authorization in our best ship." Admiral Patricia Harrison had overseen humanity's first tentative steps into interstellar space. The experimental vessel Determination had just completed its shakedown cruise, proving that human faster-than-light technology could work reliably. When Sarah's report reached Earth Command, it sparked the most heated debate in human history. The arguments against the mission were logical and compelling. Humanity had no obligation to unknown aliens. The risk to human lives was enormous. Earth's resources were limited, and the Zilani system might already be too dangerous to approach. The mission could be a trap or a misunderstanding that would lead to humanity's first interstellar war. But the arguments in favor were simpler and more powerful. The Zilani were facing extinction through no fault of their own. They had been abandoned by beings they trusted. Humanity had the technology to help and the moral obligation to try. If humans wanted to take their place among the stars as a respected civilization, they needed to prove that they were better than the Corvani. After 72 hours of debate, Admiral Harrison made the decision that would define humanity's role in the galaxy. We're launching the rescue mission. If we can't help 4 million beings when we have the power to do so, then we don't deserve to call ourselves civilized. Captain Lisa Rodriguez was chosen to command the determination for humanity's most ambitious mission. At 38, she was young for such responsibility, but she had proven herself during the first interstellar exploration missions. More importantly, she had volunteered immediately when the mission was announced along with every other member of her crew. Sarah, Marcus, and Priya would join the mission as specialists, bringing their knowledge of the Zilani situation and their expertise in alien communication. The ship's medical bay was reconfigured to handle unknown alien biology, and the cargo holds were modified to accommodate as many refugees as possible. The Determination launched from Earth orbit on a Tuesday morning, carrying humanity's hopes and fears toward a star system where millions of beings awaited either rescue or death. Captain Rodriguez stood on the bridge, watching Earth shrink behind them, knowing that this mission would either establish humanity as heroes of the galaxy or lead to the loss of Earth's most advanced ship and crew. "Course laid in for the Zilani system," reported the navigation officer. "Engage faster-than-light drive," Captain Rodriguez ordered. The stars shifted, and humanity's greatest adventure began. The rescue mission, the journey to the Zilani system, took 18 days at maximum faster-than-light speed. Captain Lisa Rodriguez used the time to drill her crew on first contact protocols, emergency evacuation procedures, and contingency plans for hostile encounters. The Determination had been designed for exploration, not rescue operations, but human ingenuity was already adapting the ship for its new mission. Sarah worked around the clock with Marcus to refine their understanding of the Zilani language, preparing for the moment when humanity would announce its presence to the desperate aliens. They had identified key phrases that would communicate peaceful intentions and willingness to help. The challenge would be convincing the Zilani that these unexpected visitors were not another cruel deception. Dr. Priya Sharma had perhaps the most difficult task. Using the technical data intercepted from Zilani communications, she was designing modifications to the ship's life support systems that could accommodate alien biology. The Zilani were silicon-based life forms who breathed nitrogen and required significantly different atmospheric conditions than humans. Priya's engineering team worked miracles, creating sealed habitat modules that could sustain thousands of Zilani refugees during transport. As they approached the target system, long-range, sensors began painting a picture of the crisis facing the Zilani. Their sun was indeed becoming unstable, throwing off massive solar flares that had already sterilized the outer planets. The Zilani homeworld was still habitable, but massive planetary shields were protecting the surface from increasing radiation. "Captain, we're detecting multiple Zilani vessels in orbit around their homeworld," reported Lieutenant Commander Torres from the sensor station. "They appear to be evacuation ships, but they're not designed for interstellar travel." Captain Rodriguez studied the tactical display. The Zilani had been preparing to save themselves using short-range vessels that could move their population to other planets in their system, but with their sun destabilizing, nowhere in the system would remain safe. They were trapped. "Open a communication channel," Captain Rodriguez ordered. "Sarah, you're up." Sarah took a deep breath and activated the communication array, broadcasting on the same frequencies the Zilani had used to contact the Corvani. Her message was simple but carefully crafted to avoid misunderstanding. "Zilani people, this is Dr. Sarah Chen of the human ship Determination. We intercepted your communications with the Corvani. We are not Corvani. We are a different species, from a distant star. We heard your situation and came to help. We offer friendship and assistance with evacuation. Please respond if you can understand this message." The response came within minutes, but it wasn't what anyone expected. Instead of relief or gratitude, the Zilani communication carried suspicion and fear. "Unknown vessel, we do not know your species or your intentions. The Corvani warned us that other species might try to take advantage of our desperation. We have nothing left to trade and no weapons to threaten you with. Please leave us to face our fate with dignity." Sarah felt her heart break. The Corvani had not just abandoned the Zilani, they had poisoned them against trusting anyone else who might help. She tried again, this time including technical data that proved human vessels could sustain Zilani life forms. Zilani friends, we ask for nothing in return. We understand your biology and have prepared our ship to carry your people safely. We offer this help freely because it is right to help those in need. We will prove our intentions through actions, not words. The Determination moved closer to the Zilani homeworld, its cargo bays opening to reveal the hastily constructed habitat modules. The ship's external displays projected images of humans working alongside simulated Zilani, showing how the evacuation would proceed. Most importantly, Captain Rodriguez ordered all weapon systems powered down and broadcast their status openly, proving they meant no harm. The breakthrough came when an elderly Zilani named Coordinator Vesh made personal contact with the human ship. Vesh had been leading the evacuation efforts and was desperate enough to consider any option, even trusting unknown aliens. Humans, you claim to offer help without payment. This is unknown to us. Why do you risk yourselves for strangers? Marcus had prepared for this question. His response drew on human philosophy and ethics, translated into concepts the Zilani could understand. Coordinator Vesh, we believe that intelligence and consciousness are precious in the universe. When we learned of your situation, we could not ignore it. Helping you helps all thinking beings by proving that cooperation is possible among the stars. The conversation that followed lasted 6 hours and changed both species forever. The Zilani shared their history, their culture, and their advanced biotechnology that had sustained their civilization for millennia. They were peaceful beings who had never developed weapons of war, instead focusing on harmonious living with their environment. Their cities were marvels of organic architecture that grew rather than being built. In return, humans shared their own story of struggle, exploration, and the determination to do what was right even when it was difficult. The Zilani were amazed to learn that humanity was relatively new to interstellar travel, having achieved faster-than-light flight only decades ago. That such young spacers would risk everything to help strangers impressed them deeply. Captain Rodriguez, Coordinator Vesh said formally, the Zilani Council has voted. We will trust the humans with our lives. How do we proceed? The evacuation began immediately. Human engineering efficiency combined with Zilani biotechnology to create solutions neither species could have achieved alone. The Zilani had developed living computers that could interface directly with human technology, dramatically improving the Determination's ability to locate habitable worlds and navigate through dangerous space. But the Determination could only carry 50,000 Zilani at a time, and there were over 4 million beings on the surface. Multiple trips would be necessary, and the sun's instability was accelerating. The situation seemed hopeless until an unexpected development changed everything. 3 Corvani vessels decloaked near the edge of the system. Captain, we're being hailed by the lead Corvani ship, Lieutenant Commander Torres reported, tension clear in his voice. The Corvani commander appeared on screen, a tall reptilian being with golden scales and intelligent amber eyes. Human vessel, you are interfering with Corvani territorial interests. The Zilani system is under our protection. Captain Rodriguez stood, her voice steady despite the danger. Commander, our understanding is that the Corvani withdrew protection from the Zilani. We are here on a humanitarian mission. The Corvani commander's expression was unreadable. I am Commander Thekvar. The humans show either great courage or great foolishness. Few species would risk themselves for strangers. Why do you do this? Sarah stepped forward, activating the universal translator. Commander Thekvar, we do this because we believe that the strong should protect the weak, that knowledge and culture should be preserved, and that the universe is better when we help each other rather than abandon each other. What happened next surprised everyone. Commander Thekvar was quiet for a long moment, then spoke with what sounded like regret. Dr. Chen, there are many among the Corvani who disagreed with the Council's decision to abandon the Zilani. We argued that our ancient alliance meant something more than economic advantage. We were overruled. The commander paused. But seeing humans risk everything for people they have never met makes us ashamed of our inaction. Commander, Captain Rodriguez said carefully, it's not too late to help. The next few hours transformed the rescue mission into something unprecedented in galactic history. Commander Thekvar and 2 other Corvani commanders broke ranks with their government, offering their ships and crews to assist with the evacuation. Their vessels were designed for mass transport and could carry hundreds of thousands of Zalani at once. The combined human-Corvani fleet worked with desperate efficiency. Zalani biotechnology interfaced with human adaptability and Corvani logistics expertise, creating an evacuation system that moved entire cities at once. The Zalani had developed living ships that could merge temporarily with mechanical vessels, allowing refugees to travel in environments perfectly suited to their biology. Working together, the 3 species located a perfect new homeworld for the Zalani in a system 60 light-years away. The planet had the right atmospheric composition, gravity, and ecological niches for Zalani civilization to flourish. More importantly, it was in neutral space, claimed by no existing power and safe from the political conflicts that had led to their abandonment. The final evacuation run took place just as the Zalani sun entered its death throes. Massive solar flares sterilized the homeworld's surface as the last refugee ships departed. From the safety of their new world, the Zalani watched through long-range sensors as their ancient home was consumed by stellar fire. "It is finished," Coordinator Vesh said simply, speaking from the bridge of the determination where she had chosen to travel. "Our people are safe. Our culture survives. And we have learned that the universe contains beings of such goodness that they will risk everything for strangers." Captain Rodriguez looked out at the fleet of ships carrying the Zalani to their new home. Human, Corvani, and Zalani vessels flying together, their crews working as one team. "Coordinator Vesh, I think we've all learned something important here. We're stronger together than we are apart." The return journey to Earth took 3 weeks, during which the 3 species exchanged knowledge, technology, and culture. The Zalani shared their biotechnology and philosophy of harmonious living. The Corvani provided advanced starship designs and stellar navigation techniques. Humans contributed their problem-solving ingenuity and their seemingly unlimited capacity for compassion. When the determination arrived at Earth, it carried more than just a successful crew. It brought proof that humanity could be a force for good in the galaxy, that cooperation was possible between vastly different species, and that sometimes the right thing to do was also the successful thing to do. The Zalani rescue mission became the foundation for the Galactic Humanitarian Alliance, an organization dedicated to assisting refugee species and preventing the abandonment of civilizations in crisis. Commander Thekvar and the other rebel Corvani were eventually pardoned by their government and became ambassadors for a new philosophy of mutual aid among star-traveling peoples. Sarah Chen returned to her research station, but now she wasn't looking for signs of alien life. Instead, she was coordinating a network of listening posts that monitored for distress calls throughout the galaxy. Humanity had discovered its role among the stars not as conquerors or traitors, but as the species that answered when others called for help. Dr. Marcus Webb established the first Xenolinguistics Institute, training humans to communicate with dozens of alien species. His translation algorithms became the standard for interspecies communication throughout the galaxy. Dr. Priya Sharma founded the Emergency Engineering Corps, a rapid response organization that could modify human ships for any rescue mission. Within days, Captain Lisa Rodriguez was promoted to admiral and given command of the expanding humanitarian fleet. Under her leadership, humans and their allies rescued 17 more endangered civilizations over the next decade, earning humanity a reputation as the helpers of the galaxy. The message the Corvani and Zalani never meant for anyone else to hear had changed everything. It proved that sometimes the most important communications were the ones that happened by accident, and that the best way to announce yourself to the universe was not with grand proclamations of power, but with simple offers of help. In her final report on the mission, Admiral Rodriguez wrote, "We went to the stars expecting to find enemies, competitors, or at best trading partners. Instead, we discovered that our greatest strength wasn't our technology or our military might. It was our willingness to help, people we'd never met, simply because it was the right thing to do. That lesson will guide humanity's steps among the stars for generations to come. The Zilani thrived on their new homeworld, building cities that were even more beautiful than those they had left behind. They named their new world Haven and established it as a sanctuary for any species in need of refuge. The first monument they built was a simple message in human, Corvani, and Zilani languages. To those who heard our call when it was never meant for them and answered when others would not. The universe is brighter because of your compassion. Somewhere in space, other conversations were happening on private channels, meant only for their intended recipients. But now, scattered throughout the galaxy, human listening posts were waiting, patiently to hear them. And when the next species sent out a desperate plea for help, they would discover what the Zilani had learned, that sometimes the most important messages were heard by exactly the right people, even when those people were never supposed to be listening. The age of human isolation was over. The age of galactic compassion had begun.